It is a Brett Witterable show. AM 760 talking breaking news. Earlier this week, we all found out when WikiLeaks published thousands of secret CIA files detailing hacking tools the government employs to break into users' computers, mobile phones, and even smart TVs. Some of those products affected included Apple's iPhones, iPads, Google Android phones, and Microsoft Windows operating systems, and Samsung TVs. So how at risk are we? Who's most at risk of being spied on by the government? What can we do to protect ourselves? Well, I want to welcome to the show Shawn Tuma. He's a Texas attorney and a cybersecurity expert, and he joins us on the line now to tell us how we can keep the CIA from spying on us through our smartphone and TV. Shawn, how are you?
I'm doing great, Brett. Thank you for having me on.
Thanks for being on the show. So let's hear it. What do I need to do to make sure my smart TV is not spying on me?
Well, the first question that you raised was to make sure the CIA is not. And I think most people should go to bed with a little more comfort tonight in knowing the CIA is not looking at most of us. You have to be doing something really wrong or very intriguing before the CIA is looking at you. The other issue is everybody else that knows how to do this stuff other than the CIA. That's the question. Really, if you have something incredibly sensitive that's like catastrophic if it gets leaked or out there, do not put it in digital form, because if it's in digital form, there is a way somewhere, somehow for somebody to get into it. Everything else, good cybersecurity basics will stop most of the snooping and privacy concerns that we have.
Are you concerned that there was possibly tacit agreement from some of these tech companies to allow the CIA to do this kind of stuff with their technology?
It's kind of a double-edged sword, and I don't know the answer to this. I'm not surprised by it in the least. I've always known there's been that sort of a relationship. But the problem we have is we need the CIA doing a lot of this kind of stuff for our protection and our national defense. What we don't need is it being used improperly and for reasons that are not for those critical of situations. And when we have human beings getting involved, we know where that leads, right? Humans always revert to human nature.
Sure.
And so I am concerned by it because we're seeing so many instances of it being politicized and misused. And, where that line is, I do not know the answer. I know all we can do as individuals is do our best to protect our information and our networks and limit the exposure that we have.
So I need to leave this this duct tape over my my laptop built-in cam and my microphone then, don't I?
You certainly do, because it does not take the CIA or even a terribly sophisticated hacker to be able to get into that. And what most people don't realize is the vast majority of things like that, these exploits and these hacks that we hear about, it's not sophisticated James Bond kind of stuff. It all starts with an email or a weak password, someone clicking on a link or downloading an attachment, leaving their devices unsecured. That's where 90% of the data security incidents we hear about start from. Not James Bond type stuff.
Shawn Tuma is a Texas attorney and a cybersecurity expert joining us here to help us navigate these shark-infested waters, and they are shark-infested. I want to go back to the moments immediately following the killings in San Bernardino by the Farouk family there, we saw a big deal made by Apple not wanting to cooperate with the feds to open the iPhone that was controlled by one of the attackers, Saeed Farouk. They said, well, we're not going to give access to our operating system because if we hack our operating system, then any mean government anywhere can just take advantage of that and exploit it, et cetera, et cetera. The FBI ended up using some Israeli company to open up the phone. Did they not think of picking up the phone, calling over to Langley and saying, hey, CIA guys, can you open this phone for us?
There is a surprising lack of coordination among those agencies, the CIA, the NSA, and the FBI. And there's a reason for that. It's a constitutional level type protection to protect us from being in too much of a police state. But, you know, the issue you raised there is really intriguing because, you know, we know the need for that as a national defense matter. But the problem is exactly what we're seeing right here. When these companies provide the government with these accessible exploits to use, and when the government develops them, it's designed to protect us, to secure us. But the problem is when it gets leaked, as everything else in the digital world does, then it gets used to attack us. And that's what we're seeing now is all of these tools and tricks that are being disclosed are going to now be used and picked up by the criminal gangs, by the terrorist groups, and all of that. So it's a vicious cycle.
I just, you know, I guess you're right there. It's a good point. All right, Shawn Tuma is a Texas attorney, cybersecurity expert. We appreciate you coming by and talking about this. Thanks for popping in.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, that's Shawn Tuma.